Alright, so now we're going to get started on breaking down each one of these parts and pieces of the endocrine system. So first up is the hypothalamus. So dragons can be extremely moody, and this is where it starts. The hypothalamus is located in the very center of the brain in what's called the limbic system, and it sits right above the brainstem. And it is the primary regulator of the body. It controls moment-to-moment, day-to-day metabolic functions of the body. It also has a direct connection to the olfactory system through a nerve that directly connects it to the septum, which is the part that divides your nose into two separate nostrils. It is also the record keeper of the body. It receives an info copy of practically every nerve impulse that is transmitted in the body for your entire life, including every emotion you've ever felt. So that is a ton of data that's stored in this very tiny portion of the brain. One of the coolest things about the hypothalamus is that it connects emotions to specific organs via polypeptide production. And when I was really starting to learn about essential oils and how they worked through aromatherapy and smell, I started really digging into this limbic system and how it works to connect bodily function with an emotion. And so when you have a thought or an emotion like worry or fear or any of those things, your brain actually creates and secretes chemicals in the brain, and it forms a polypeptide. And a polypeptide is just a fancy word for a protein molecule. So when you have an emotion, your brain turns that thought into something that has physical mass to it. And when it does that, it has to put that somewhere in the body or eliminate it from the body. And oftentimes it is stored within particular organ systems, which we'll cover here in just a moment. So there is this direct connection to the hypothalamus, the olfactory, and the limbic system. And so the limbic system, it contains a bunch of different parts and pieces, but the two main ones that we're going to talk about are the hypothalamus and the amygdala in this situation. So the hypothalamus is located in the middle of the limbic system, and it's where our emotions interface with the nervous and endocrine systems to affect our overall bodily functions and health. And this creates this information swap. So the hypothalamus has a direct connection to the amygdala, and it also has a direct connection to the septum, which is that part that divides your nose, and it's a bunch of different nerve endings right there. And it allows the things that we smell to pass straight into the brain without any intermediate synapses. So when they've done tests on this whole situation, they can actually hold something under somebody's nose and have them smell it, and then watch their brain, and they can see that that smell instantly appears in the hypothalamus through this polypeptide protein production. And so these polypeptides are stored in the associated organs by the amygdala. That's the part of the brain that's in charge of basically telling that protein where to go. And so this creates this smell and emotion interface. And so the amygdala associates a scent that's been delivered by the hypothalamus via the septum in your nose. And it associates it with a memory, a decision making, or an emotional response. So some of the emotions that are traditionally associated with particular organ systems are these. So fear and worry, often stored in the kidneys. Anger, rage, and unforgiveness can be stored in the liver and gallbladder. Inner crying, which is really deep, inner sadness can be stored in the lungs and kidneys. Sadness can be stored in the pancreas, and lack of joy can be stored in the heart. And from my own personal experience, I had somebody who I felt wronged me very early in life, and I had a lot of unforgiveness and anger towards this person. And I struggled my whole life with liver and gallbladder issues. I always had a weak liver. I had many, many bouts of gallstones over the years. And I was able to get through those instances with some natural remedies and things like that, and not have to have my gallbladder removed, thankfully. But it wasn't until I used Young Living's forgiveness blend and I actually forgave that person out loud while smelling that oil that I was actually able to release those negative feelings and not have that anger and unforgiveness towards that person. And it really changed how I perceived that person. And it released me from a lot of this negativity that was bogging down my body. And my liver is doing really, really well, and I'm able to digest things a whole lot better these days. And so I'm extremely thankful that I was able to learn about this smell and emotion interface and how it can help our overall health and emotional thought life. So some of the ways that we can support the limbic system by cleaning it up is using frankincense, cedarwood, and vetiver. So frankincense, cedarwood, and vetiver are known for their high levels of sesquiterpenes, and that is the chemical constituent that's found in these oils that oxygenates the brain. So frankincense has been heavily studied for its positive influence on the limbic system, and it is such an emotionally uplifting oil, and you can use it for just about anything out there. It really is liquid gold. Cedarwood has the highest sesquiterpene amount of any essential oil that we know of at 98%. And it is great to release negative emotions that are stored in the liver, particularly. And it's wonderful for sleep. A lot of people love to put this on their big toe before bed to help them enter into and stay in REM sleep longer. And during that process, when you're in REM sleep, you can dream. And a lot of those dreams are very productive, and they are ways that your body brings the subconscious thought to the conscious mind so that the body can rid it. It can get it out. And so cedarwood is a phenomenal oil that you can use all day long, every day, and the body will use it how it needs it. Vetiver is a grass. It comes from a grass, and it is really a favorite among a lot of moms who have children that need extra help with focusing and concentrating and just being grounded. And so this is a great one for insecurity. And so just kind of feeling assured of your environment and those that are around you. So any one of these on their own or even in combination with each other would be excellent for supporting the limbic system and the hypothalamus and its production. So the best way to use these is through smell. So smelling them out of the bottle, putting one drop of each one of these in your hand and cupping that over your nose and mouth and smelling them in, or applying them to the roof of your mouth with your thumb, or any one of those ways, diffusing them even, would be the best way to get them in, because the only way that you can access the limbic system is through the olfactory, through smell. Light can't touch it, sight can't touch it, nothing can touch the limbic system other than the olfactory system. So I would highly recommend that you use these aromatically and through a diffuser. So I'm going to go ahead and stop here, and the next video we're going to pick up and talk about the pituitary gland. So I look forward to seeing you again.